That sauce was hot. I'm sweating just a tiny bit. It wasn't very tasty, but it is burning.
If you fellas excuse me, I gotta use the phone, man. Enjoy.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Hey everybody, it's Ryan McDonald, and we are back for day 6 of our Hot Sauce Advent Calendar Challenge. Now, as a reminder, my name is Ryan McDonald. I'm a hot sauce maker from Utah. My brand is Tasty as Fuck. You can find us on Etsy, and then I'm also a local filmmaker as well. You can find me on Instagram at ryan.mcdonald.filmmaker. And let's deep dive into day 6 and get into our movie. Here we go. Whoops. Now, as my good friend Carl Diamond pointed out, these are my little bags of hot sauce. So, whoops. And we have a classic chili charm. Right now, it looks a little gelatinized, however you pronounce it. Which is an indicator it's not going to be my favorite, but let's see. Here we go. Alrighty. Now, somebody asked me, did you use a spoon to pour? Well, yeah, I mean, we're just doing tasting, We're not necessarily going through a whole food thing. So, cheers. Okay, so it is a bit syrupy. It's quite warm. Quite warm, though. But I can tell that it's not warm because it has pepper in it. You can really taste... When I say the spice, what I mean is like, how you can taste like black pepper. You can taste, it's like it's spicy because it's like a powder. Even though you don't see the granulates in here, it's warm though. It is really warm. Has a texture like a sweet and sour sauce though, which is not too bad. Not too bad. Kind of indicates that there's a lot of sugar in there though. Which is fine. It is warm. Not incredibly flavorful, though. Not like sweet and sour sauce would be. So, probably something better if you mixed it in with sweet and sour sauce. That's going to be the classic chili charm. It's got the chili, not necessarily the charm. So, day 6, let's deep dive into our movie. And this time we are going to pick the Farrelly Brothers classic, Dumb and Dumber.
That sounds like a dare, Harry.
It's a double dare.
Yeah, okay, you're on.
It's not so bad.
Yeah. It's more tingly than hot.
Yeah.
Now, this movie was released in December of 1994. So, keeping in a little bit with a type of holiday theme. But if you... so, I was in the 4th grade about that time. And if you're younger than me, you might not remember before this guy right here became a superstar. He was kind of known as the white dude on In Living Color, which was like a skit comedy show that was on Fox. Before there was Mad TV, and depending on your age, you might not even remember Mad TV. But... it was pretty clear that between this and between In Living Color and then Ace Ventura, that Jim Carrey was going to basically blow up and become a massive celebrity that he eventually did become. You might also notice that I have this movie on DVD. I haven't upgraded all my movies to Blu-ray. It kind of is just kind of on a... There's sometimes when there's so many movies, you just don't really have a chance to watch everything. And I just don't know if I'm going to upgrade it to Blu-ray just so I can watch it that once every however long cycle. But what I do enjoy about the old DVDs is that they used to put them on widescreen, and it would say right here widescreen, or you would have a standard edition format. Standard was something, again, back in the early 90s, our TVs were not rectangle, they were square. And because of that, when movies in the 1950s, 60s, when competing with television, movies decided to go into a Cineranoscope kind of a look in order to compete with this square box of television. That continued as a trend until a point where most of us grew up thinking that movies on television were actually square, and that adding widescreen, which would be black bars on top and bottom, it was actually cutting off something on the video. when in fact it was actually made so they were cutting the sides off and creating something what we called standard vision at the time. Now, in today's world, all of our televisions and even our computer screens are rectangle. And what's interesting is we're kind of going into a reverse effect with doing phones such as this, where now we're in vertical. There's a whole movement going on of vertical filmmaking, or even taking classic films and making them look vertical. But getting besides the point, coming back to Dumb and Dumber, so it's more of a format thing. If you're in the Utah area, and I'm a Utah filmmaker, a lot of this movie, though set in Rhode Island, was shot in Utah as well. There are parts that are quite a bit of it shot in Park City to replicate Aspen. And also the Salt Lake City airport is the airport at the beginning of the movie when Jim Carrey drops off Laura, what's her name? I apologize. That sauce was hot. I'm sweating just a tiny bit. It wasn't very tasty, but it is burning. So the Salt Lake City Airport masks that airport, and then also their apartment that they have before they abandon it is also set in Salt Lake City as well. Another thing I love about a good comedy like this, especially the Farley Brothers, is it's not all improv comedy. I mean, not everybody can do improv comedy, in my opinion, really well. I mean, not as well as like Curb Your Enthusiasm is improv comedy at its highest. But I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of Kevin Hart and The Rock's like kind of just going back and forth banter of what seems like improv comedy. And I also think it's kind of some of the lamer parts or more lame parts of the Marvel movies when it's just jaw-jacking back and forth and what was probably hysterically funny on set, but really isn't that funny. And I guess maybe the audience does think it's funny. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys, but it's just random bantering isn't very good. And I think that the best type of improv is either by the guys who are the masters at it, or as De Niro would say, you rehearse it so much that you're able to improv around those kind of things. Dumb and Dumber is a scripted comedy. The jokes are already written in, and they're played masterfully well by these two guys. And I think that Jeff Daniels he's had to defend himself in this movie for being a dramatic actor who played in a comedic role. But I think if you really look at it, there's a lot of drama to doing comedy, and we found that out. My good friend BJ Wimpy and I, when we worked on Convicts and Chocolate, the comedy is always as kind of a deadpan drama. My friend Dennis Record, when we did my short film Frankencock, though a horror comedy in a sense, we're playing it as dead straight as we can, and that's where I think it comes from. So that's my pick for today, is Dumb and Dumber, and we will check you tomorrow. Now, if you're in the Ogden, Utah area, or the Weber County area of Utah, head over tomorrow, Saturday, December 7th, to the Newgate Mall and go over to Quilted Bear, where the Utah's hot sauce leader, Utah's hot sauce leader, Beard in Your Tongue, will be doing a 50 hot sauce sampling from noon to 6 p.m. So be sure to head over there, say hi to Roger for me, and check out a lot of the different hot sauces that we have. You can always find me, like I said, go to Etsy, and we'll be as tasty as fuck on Etsy.com. We have hundreds of sales and a 5-star review. So we hope you check us out, and then we'll check you out tomorrow at the tasting at the Newgate Mall from 12 to 6.